30-some days to go, folks, till the midterm, so it is bring on the mud time out there, and the fight to hold on to seats in Congress getting pretty nasty. Florida Democratic Congressman Alan Grayson, who has a history of making controversial comments, I might add, now labeling his opponent, here's one for you, Taliban Dan, in a new political ad. Critics say Grayson is taking parts of a speech by Republican Daniel Webster out of context. Here is what Daniel Webster, so you can see for yourself here, folks. Here's what Daniel Webster said at a Christian event in the summer of 2009.
So, write a journal. Second, find a verse. I have a verse for my wife. I have verses for my wife. Don't pick the ones that say she should submit to me. That's in the Bible. But pick the ones that you're supposed to do. So instead, that you'd love your wife, even as Christ loved the church and gave himself for it. And as opposed to, wives, submit yourself to your own husband. She can pray that if she wants to, but don't you pray it. Same with your children. Pick out the ones that have your responsibility listed into it. It's, yes, children are to obey their parents, but more importantly, we're as fathers to not provoke them to wrath.
All right, so you see the full sort of sentiment that was expressed there by Daniel Webster. Now here's how Alan Grayson used this event in his latest ad.
Wives, submit yourself to your own husband.
Daniel Webster wants to impose his radical fundamentalism on us.
She should submit to me. That's in the Bible.
Webster tried to deny battered women medical care and the right to divorce their abusers.
Submit to me.
He wants to force raped women to bear the child.
Submit to me.
Well, now both campaigns have just given us new reaction to this controversy. Doug Schoen is a former Clinton pollster as well as a Fox News contributor. Doug, it always gets pretty ugly out there. There's always some stuff that both sides look at and say, we really kind of wish we hadn't gone there. What do you make of this particular use of this ad?
This, to me, Martha, is way over the line. For Grayson to call his opponent Taliban Dan, to mischaracterize his view of the role of women and how they should act and behave in life is outrageous. If he wanted to draw a contrast on the issue of choice, abortion, that's fine, well within the bounds of normalcy, decency, and logic. But this is way over the line, Martha.
It's interesting that the Grayson campaign is saying that that the Webster campaign has not refuted anything in this ad. Why do you think that would be?
I think they look at this, they see this as so far beyond the pale that their best reaction is to leave it alone and let voters draw their own conclusion.
That's what I'm gathering, is that they feel like it will end up serving them. I mean, when you put together a lot of Grayson's comments, including the Republicans want you to die quickly comment that we just looked at, he has a history of making these statements. So as a political strategist, is that what you do? You back away from this and say, look, that stands on its own. You get it.
Yeah, you back away, Martha, and what you learn as a political strategist is the voters don't react well to outrageous lies. If you make a credible argument seriously, they'll listen to it. But if you just lie outrageously and stretch the truth, it doesn't work. Backfires.
Are there repercussions of this? Does anyone in the Democratic, national committees call him and say, look, this one's a little bit too far?
In an ideal world, they would and they should. With every Democrat fighting for their life, nobody's going to call anyone on the carpet because the Democratic campaign this fall is entirely negative. So they're going to leave this alone, too.
All right. It's interesting to watch, and we're going to be watching a number of different, from Democrats and Republicans, these ads as they kind of surface over the course of the next few weeks. But really egregious.
Yes,
I
absolutely
egregious. On his part. So interesting to take a look at it. Doug, thank you so
Martha,
much. We'll be talking
you.
a lot in the next 35 days. I have a feeling. Good to see you again.